So there's several ways to make a symmetrical object that's, perfect. I'll recreate a fill object, click shape, and maybe I'll just make it a polygon for right now. I'll hold Control and I'll click enter twice. Control Alt C to center it. So there's my fill object. Turn it green. And then I'll just create the object that I want to create inside. So I'll use the outline tool because you're going to need it anyways when we convert to a column. So I'm going to zoom in with my plus sign on my keyboard. I'm going to make sure Snap to Grid is on over here. If you don't see your grid, don't click Snap to Grid. You'll have to go out of this window, go into Edit, Preferences, set your grid, and then come back and then click Snap to Grid. Because if you click Snap to Grid and your grid's not showing, you'll lock up the computer. So anyways, you'll click Snap to Grid. I'll snap here. And then I'll come over 1, 2, 3, 4 and snap here. And then this one, I'll just bring it down like about there. And then I'll come up here, click straight line. I'll just click it there for now. I could just click up there, that's fine too. And hit enter or check. We'll go to the transformation icon up here, transformations tool, click it, and for angle we'll just put 180, and this focus is in the center of the object, which is where we want it to be. We don't want it in the center of the hoop, we want it in the center of the object. That's the default location. And then we'll just click apply to duplicate. So we get another shape, but we have to do one more thing. So hit close. If you click outside, you'll see that it's not snapped. So just click on it and do transform snap to previous. And there it'll snap up into position. There's no jumps. Slide over both of them. Transform, combine outlines. And now you have an outline, and we'll do Control C, Control V, hold Control, move the second one down where you want it to be, slide over both of them, and just hold Control Alt C to center them. So now they're centered across this. I believe this was centered. Let's see, Control Alt C. Yeah, everything is centered on the hoop. So there's your two objects, and slide over both of them, convert, create fill from outline. Let's put these a different color, and hold your right mouse, slide up, insert before, slide over them, convert, fill to opening. Now they're an opening. You still have your outlines. And if you want to convert those outlines into a column, they'll probably look okay even as a satin just because of the shape they are. I'll leave the width at say 2 or maybe 2.5, 2.5, and whoops, satin, sorry. 2.5 and click apply. Pull comp is 0.1. We're going to leave that. And so there's my satin. Now you could increase your pull comp to 0.2, but I wouldn't go any higher than that. And if you go into 3D, they do look nice. Sometimes they do look better, even this simple shape as a column. So go to convert, create column from outline. We'll make it the same width, 2.5, light blue. Hide these and generate those. And you can go in here and again change the pole comp. I usually make these at 4.2 just so they're not so tight, so they don't look so bad. Sometimes if you uncheck auto corners, they look better. You don't really need auto shortening for this. You do see a little gap there, so maybe you do want to go back down to 4.1. My shield, I have everything at Embird defaults, which means, let me generate this. Okay. So some of the other ways to create a symmetrical object would be to create the two sides like we did before, and then select it, and we'll just do the transformation tool again. And this time, instead of hitting angle at 180, hit number per revolution, right click 2, and apply to duplicate one time. So you've created your other two sides, and when you hit close and click outside, you see you have the same issue where it's not, snapping. So just click on the second one, transform snap. And there you have it, and then you would do transform combine again. So that's the second way. And then a third way would be to make the two sides again and take that object, Control C, Control V to copy and paste it. And then with that second object selected, go up here to transform flip horizontal. I click outside, so now it's like over here, but this one it's right on top of each other. So now you want to flip it vertically. So click on it, transform, flip vertically. And you still have the same issue, transform, snap to previous. And there you go. Okay, so then that's that one. And then another method would be make your two sides like we did, and then copy and paste, Control C, Control V. And with the second one selected, go to transform, rotate left, okay, and then transform, rotate left again, okay, and then you still have the same issue, transform, snap to previous. And a fifth method would be to just start with a geometrical shape by clicking on outline tool, click once, shape, we'll just click rectangle, and I'll just draw in a rectangle, hit enter twice, and let's see, this is 5, let's just make it a little bigger, and Control Alt C to center it, zoom in a little bit. And so now we want to use the transform envelope tool. But here's the thing with envelope. If you want to curve sides when you use the envelope tool, then your sides have to have a curved node in them. And if I hit edit now on this rectangle, you'll see that, say I click here, and the arrow's pointing this way. So that means that this line from here to here, if I look up, well, it's showing me I could make it a curve, meaning it's a line right now. It's a straight line. So I want to hit to curve to get that curved node. So down here, I'll click on this one even before I clicked it. When I was up here, you know, I didn't see a round node. So that's your tip, that you have all straight lines here, except for this one now, of course, is got a round node. So we'll click on this one and click to curve, and now we have a curve there. And if you don't want to curve these sides, then don't even worry about them. So hit the check, and now we can go into transform envelope, and to create the same shape, I'll zoom out, to create the same shape that we've been creating, I want the horizontal edges, meaning this one and this one, to be a curve, as we mentioned. And then the vertical edges, I just want to leave as a line. So, you know, you could always change them, but remember, if you change these to a curve or two curves, then you have to cancel this and go back and put a round node here before you can use these as curves. So we'll just leave it as a line. This one is a curve. One curve is all we need. And for the symmetry, you want to have them both selected, because then if you click on any of these red nodes, it'll affect every node, top, bottom, right, left. So you'll have horizontal and vertical selected. I'll show you what I mean. If I click here and then drag it, you see how the bottom moves vertically, and if I go in, the bottom moves horizontally as well. So, but what's interesting is, let me Control Z. If I just click horizontal and then click the same node, click the same node, now just my pen is doing something, my pen tablet, sorry, let me go into transform envelope. Okay, horizontal, if I just click this node, okay, and I have horizontal checked, and that's always confusing because it seems like it's being affected vertically, like this one and this one, but the symmetry is horizontal. So in different softwares use these words differently, you know, in opposite ways. So that's another reason it can get confusing if you use other software. So when you check horizontal, it's moving this whole line horizontally, I guess you could say, and this whole line horizontally. Control Z, Control Z. And if I hit just vertical and click the same one, now the top is moving in a vertical fashion symmetrically. But it's like the two horizontal nodes. So you'll just get used to it. And so anyways, so I'm going to hit Control Z, and I want them both checked because I just want to drag this up. You have to click it and then drag it. Control Z. Click it to select it and then drag it. And finish object. And there you go. Now the other one, Control Z, you can use is transform envelope. To get that same shape, I just had custom selected, but you can click on I think it was number 17. So right away it goes into it. But you can still change it. So we want the horizontal edges to be a curve. We want the vertical edges to be a line. It doesn't matter. We could have left it at curve because we're not messing with it anyways. But these two checked, and then click and then drag, and I can, move it however I want. So, and then I would finish object, and there you go. So the other thing that I should mention on this envelope tool, transform envelope, if we did want two curves, you notice you have extra nodes. So then to use this tool to its full benefit, we'll want to make sure that we have two round nodes on either side of this center node here, because then you can create like S shapes when we come back here. So we'll go ahead and we'll cancel this. Sometimes you have to hit it twice, and we'll hit edit, and we'll just click on this round node and hit insert, and we'll just click insert. Now we have two round nodes. Click on the round, insert. We'll do the same down here, insert, click, insert. See how I'm making it very symmetrical as I'm clicking. I'm clicking on the round nodes and hitting insert. And I'll go ahead and, well, let's click on end, hit end on your keyboard, and then we'll make this one a round node first. So we'll curve. Okay, now we'll click here and we'll do insert, click, insert, and then click, insert. Okay, so down here, first we make it a curve up here, and then we do our inserts. Insert, click, insert, click, insert. So we have two sets of round nodes on either side of this center node. Two sets of round nodes. So we'll hit check, and then we'll go back, transform envelope. We'll do two curves. We'll do it on both of them. And for right now, we'll just leave vertical checked. And I'm going to see if I could make a butterfly. So I'm going to take this center node, I'll click once and then drag it down. And I'm going to click once on the corner and drag it up. And now you can kind of see an S starting to form. Okay. I can make it as drastic as I want. I'll just start with that, and then I'll work on the bottom. I'll click here. And I'll click here and bring this in a little. And I'm going to click here and on a square node and see what I get. So I may not want this jutting out. Let me take this down. And let's see. And I'll make this one fan out a little. That looks kind of cool the way it curls down. I don't know if butterflies are really like that. I can bring this up to make it a little fatter up there. That's kind of cool looking. And then I'll finish it. And so now everything is perfectly smooth. If I hit preferences, well, I could just go into 3D. Let's just hit generate. I just wanted to get rid of the grid. And let's make it, I guess I'll just go with the satin for right now, just so we can see it better. And there you go. And, you know, the sky's the limit then, what you can do with making curvy shapes. Just makes it really fun. And then, you know, if you don't like these points, of course, you can convert this to a regular column. So just click it and convert, create column from outline. Let's see, I'll make it like 2.5 for right now. I know it was 2 mils originally. Let's hide that one. And let's just generate and see what kind of points we got. Okay, so we got a different one here than we did here. It could be the where it's starting. So this is different than here. Let's do one thing. Let's go in, let's zoom out, and let's go into params. Sometimes if you uncheck auto corners, it fixes everything. So let's uncheck that and hit apply. Okay, they all look good now. Okay, perfect. So you could maybe go up to 0.2 on your pull comp. I usually go either 4.2 or 4.3 on my density because it just looks better. I'll leave it auto underlay and hit OK. And so that could just be the start of something, an applique or anything. And you can leave the outline there because, you know, you may need it. I'll just turn it yellow. And I'll just save this. So there you go. So many ways to make symmetrical objects. It's just, I'm sure there's more ways than what I even mentioned here. So have fun, experiment, and write me anytime if you need a lesson or if you just have a quick question. I don't mind helping somebody. I help people all the time on the Facebook groups. One thing I forgot to mention, if you did want to go in and edit this butterfly, it is a little harder to edit it in the envelope window because if you recall, let me hide the column and bring back the outline and just hit edit. So we have a square node here and here, and you know, square nodes throughout. Well, right now they're perfectly blended, you know, because we created this with the envelope tool. So there's no jagged points. But if we try to go back in and edit this with 2 curves in the envelope tool, these are going to start to show. And let me just X out. I'll show you what I mean. So I'll just go back to the outline. That's why I save my outline. I don't delete it usually till I get into editor. So we have the outline, and I'll go to transform envelope. And if I do curves, 2 curves, and I'll just do 2 curves on both of them. So let's say I wanted to make this wider, you know, make this curve a little more right here. I still have vertical checked. Well, you would think it would be, you know, one of these nodes over here, like this one. Not this, because this brings in the points. This one is more for down here, so you would think it would be this node right here. Well, if I took it and dragged it, you can see there's that square node that's being introduced. So it kind of, you know, it makes it harder. And even if you move this, that, like I said, affects in here. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. So there's a couple things you can do. Instead of two curves, just try curve and try it now and see if you could get this to be wider. So I'll click on this one, and yeah, I can kind of get it wider. It looks, you know, shorter because everything came down. You know, it's taking on a whole different shape now. And I'm really curving in through there. Control Z, Control Z. So what I would do for something like this, I wouldn't even do it here in transform. If I had to come back to it, I would just work on half of it and then mirror it. Because this curve right here that I want to make wider, it's just a simple curve. It's not an S curve. So I would just hit cancel. And let's just turn this green so I could see it. And then I would hit edit, and I would just completely split this off. And let's see. So it would be as if, you know, I would only be creating like half of it. So I can create the left half or the right half. I'll just create the right half. So you want to start here and split it here, or you want to start here and split it here, either one. So I'll just put place start point here. I right clicked, so I just right click place start point here, and then Control Z, and then click here, right click, split. And I'll just work on the right object, and I'll hit edit. And if I just drag this down, I'm going to have the same issue. So since this is just a simple curve, Control Z, I'll just delete the square node and then bring this down. Make it fatter like I wanted. And hit enter. I like that better. So then that's my side that I like. So I'll just take this one and delete it. Click here. And again, there's so many ways that I can, you know, mirror this. So I'll just do Control C, Control V. I'll right click, hold, insert before. And since I know I'm going to snap it to this previous one, I know I'm going to have to reverse its stitches, because if I do transform and then flip horizontally and then transform snap, see, it's going to snap like that because you have to reverse the stitches on it. So you want it to start down here instead of up here. You don't want it to start in exactly the same spot as your original. Reverse stitches, check, and now snap, transform, snap, and there it is. And then I'll slide over both of them. You see there's no scissors, and go to transform, combine. And if it doesn't combine, that just means that there's a minute, very millisecond that's not snapped. So you'll click on the second one, hit edit, and see this right here. if you hover, align beginning to previous object. So this will snap to the ending note. If I zoom in, you'll see it's ever so slightly off. And that's why they gave us a jump stitch there. So if we hit align beginning to previous, the red is the previous. If we click that, you'll watch it jump. And there it is. And then hit enter or check. And now we'll slide over them and go to transform, combine outlines, and now they're one. And then we can get rid of this column, and on this one we'll hit convert, create column from outline, 2.5, turn this one yellow, and we'll go into params and go 4.2.2, uncheck that and hit apply, and there you go. And I'll hide the yellow one, and I would save it, of course. Now you can always go back to the yellow one and use one of your outline stitches instead. You know, what if this is going to be a quilt and it's like a motif that you're making for one of your quilt blocks or something? So you could leave it as just an outline stitch in that case, you know, just single stitch, and then I usually go 2.2 for quilting and hit apply. The other thing is you could bring in a custom ESM. So you would go up to user editors, outlines, open, mine are in C, users, WeQuilt, ESM outline, favorites, and which one do I like? There is one that's not, it doesn't have a direction, and that's the heartbeat, doesn't have a direction. Quite a few of them don't have directions. Sometimes that paperclip one is cute. Could do sashikos, and these are, most of these, or many of them, are in my custom ESM outline bundle. I really love my arrowhead. I don't know why I always go back to arrowhead. So I'll do arrowhead, and backstitch crooked is symmetrical, but I'll just try it. And we'll do a simple chain. I don't know if I should do the short one or not. I'll just do that one. My chain stitches don't have a line going through the center like Embird's, so that's why I created it. Now, unless of course you put a, you know, make it branched, then if you make it branched, then you do have one going through the center, unless you branch it so that it just stitches over itself, but I wouldn't suggest that. It's just too much bulk. So let's see, we'll do a couple more. I don't know why these are empty. Maybe because I made them in Studio Next, because I've never seen that. So we'll just do heartbeat wide. I'll just do that one. Might be too dense. And I'll just do this one. And let's see what we get. I wish I would have changed the color. Let's just do the arrowhead. That's pretty. And of course you can make it wider. And let's see. And I could mirror that and see how it's directional. So since it's directional, you would split this and make one side, you know, going one way and one side going the other way. I could show you that in a minute. Let's just see this one. Okay, that's the chain short. See, my min and max lengths are short. I'm not sure if I like it short. It's a little longer. That's better. And again, these are going in different directions. So you would want to split it. This one is one directional. Oh, that was the wide. Let's go to 4. That looks pretty. But you can get that same effect with columns as well, and then you might have better points. So if we went back to, say, the arrowhead, the way you would do it is, I'll just do Control-C, Control-V, and I'll hide these. I'll make this one blue. You would edit it, and you would split it. Right-click, split. And then let's see how this one generated. So you may like them going in that direction. Okay. And then this one, well, let's just see. You would click it and you go into params, and you wouldn't mirror the sides because the arrowhead is the same. You see the direction didn't change, so that wouldn't matter. So you would have to edit it, and then you'd have to reverse direction. So in that case, what's going to happen is you're going to have a jump now. So you can see, let me make these a different color. So you can see, you know, it's not going to stitch seamlessly because the first one, it starts here and ends here. Well, so does the second one. It starts here and ends here. Whereas before we had the second one starting here where this first one is ending. But now if we hit the second one, you see it starts in the same spot. So you'll have a jump from here to there. So to get around that, you would think, oh, well, I'll just branch the two objects. So we'll just X out of here. And you say, oh, okay, I'll just select them both and go to branch, which is arrange outline parts. And you'd see it's grayed out. We can't choose it. Well, that's because the object where we reversed the stitches has turned into a backward path already. And branching creates backward paths. So it's grayed out because it's telling me, hey, you've already got a backward path in your little selection there. So you can't branch. So, and sometimes when I run into this, there are other workarounds for that. A lot of times, it just so happens that I could just reverse the stitches and it, you know, it turns into a regular outline. But in this case, I want the stitches to stay as is. I want them to start up there and end there because of the direction of my arrowhead or my custom outline or any outline. that is directional. So in this case, you might say to yourself, well, okay, I'll branch these manually. So you like, okay, well, I'll click on this and try and give it a backward path. So you'd go to transform, create backward path. Well, it's grayed out because it's already a backward path. And if you click delete backward path, then you delete the object. You know, you don't want to do that. So the way to get around that is you have it selected, you go into edit, and now your backward path button is available. So you create a backward path on your backward path. It grouped it. Here it is down here. Let me right click and ungroup it. So the original backward path, this one here, if I hit edit, you'll see that's our original backward path. So it created a backward path off of this backward path, which made this not a backward path anymore. So it made it like a, you know, a travel stitch. But here's the thing. You could just switch these. So we'll take this one, right click, hold, let go, insert before. So now this is my travel. It starts here and ends there. And this is my new backward path. You know, it starts here and ends there, which is what we wanted. But since we made these two double stitched, you know, we have to make this one a backward path. So we'll go to transform, create backward path. That's readily available. And we have to move it up into position, right click, hold, insert before. So this one now, however, is in the wrong position. I put it in the wrong position, sorry. Right click, insert before. Okay. So now this one is starting here and ending there. This one is starting here and ending down there. This one starting here and ending up there. And then this one is starting up here and ending down there. Well, that's great. We got rid of all the jumps, but now we have all arrowheads showing. So click on your travel stitches, hold control, make them the same single stitch length as your arrowhead. So if you recall, my arrowhead params were 2.5 min max. So again, click the travel stitches and go to params. Oh, it would have shown it here. Sorry, we didn't have to look. So go to single stitch and then make them both 2.5. Because you want them to match the arrowhead stitch length so that, you know, they won't show. So click apply. And now when we select them all and generate, you could see they're going in the correct directions outward. And there's no jumps. So that's just one way to get around that. And it's always different. Like every situation seems to be different, but I always find a workaround. So there you go. So I'll just right click and whoops, sometimes that happens, and just move away and right click, group them, and we'll save this. And that would be, you know, a cute little butterfly or applique. You could even use it as an applique finishing stitch, you know, especially if it's like a nice raw edge applique. That would be really pretty. Or you can even do a double, you know, a double applique to have this inside on your actually applique material and then have another satin on the outside. So Control C, Control V, transform, expand. And if we want it to be, say 6 mils away, we would expand it 12 so that we can only go up to 10. So we'll just do 10 and hit check. And so that would be your expanded object, but of course we have to edit it. So we would come in here and before we even edited this, we would probably copy paste it, Control C, Control V, yellow, because we could snap to the yellow, hit edit on the orange, snap to object edges, and come down here. Okay, and then come up here. I'm just sliding so I can get that perfect. And then what I would do then, since this is, it copied and pasted everything, this is the one that I edited. Let me just ungroup it. This is the one I just edited. I would get rid of all of these, get rid of that, and then I would just mirror that. Control C, Control V. Right away, I know I have to reverse my stitches. I would transform, flip horizontal, and then transform, snap. And then that could be your satin. Let's see. So this one is starting up here and ending down there. So it's starting and ending in the right spot. It's just not snapping. So again, hit edit on the second one, snap here. It probably moved just a hair, and there your scissors are gone. And then transform, combine. And then I would expand it even more. Transform, expand. And these look like they did okay, but these down here did not. Control C, Control V, edit. So that's sliding. I could have had it snapping to the grid so that it's right in the center. So it's snapping to the grid and the object edge. And then this one, this node is not behaving. I would just delete it. Oh, I can't unless I move this out. Yeah, it's not behaving well. Oh, I'm still snapping. I guess that's okay. And so then if this one is starting here and it's going in this direction, I'll split it here. Get rid of this. Get rid of this that we were snapping to. That looks better. And Control C, Control V, and transform, flip. If we do transform snap, you see it snaps weird. That's when you know. You just hit edit, reverse nodes, check, then do transform snap again, and it should snap. So there you'd have like a double applique. And then I know I could fix this up here and curve this in more, but you kind of get the idea. So this one I would do transform combine, and it didn't combine, so take the second one, edit, snap this to the previous, just very minuscule movement. Now transform combine, and they combined. And I'll go into params, and I'll just give it a satin. I'll say 2.5. If it's applique, though, it has to be wide. So 3.5 to 4. We can just up the pull comp to 0.2. And there you go. So it's like a double satin, and then this could be your applique. So of course you'd have to convert it, create column from outline. We'll make it 4. And I'll hide that. And then convert column to applique. And we could do split applique into layers, and then you could mess with your layers of your, I'll turn this yellow, turn this one yellow too, and you can mess with your layers of your your final column stitch if you want. You can make another placement stitch, you can copy and paste this outline. So there's just so much you can do now. Control Alt C to center it. Wow, it's really up there. That's kind of cool looking. So I could just keep going on and on with this. I get a little carried away, my goodness. Let's see, what am I hiding here? Okay. So there you go. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and it was really fun for me. I love this butterfly now. I have to do something with it. If you have any questions, feel free to write me or sign up for a lesson, and I'm always there to help. All right, guys. Bye.